In this video, I'm going to be talking about um, loneliness. Loneliness is a feeling of disconnection. It's a feeling of isolation, feeling of not being part of others or a community, or being disconnected from the rest of society. It's not a pleasant feeling. It's a feeling that a lot of us experience. I myself have experienced it many times throughout my life, especially when I traveled to a foreign country. About a decade ago, I went to Japan, and I didn't know anyone in the city, didn't speak the language very well, and for the first few months, I felt very disconnected and lonely at times. One of the things that I've discovered is with loneliness, you might feel like it's because you're disconnected with others, from others, or you don't have people around that you're connected with at a deep and meaningful level. But in fact, loneliness can also be a sign of disconnection from self, a disconnection from your own with your own self. A quote that I really like is the difference between loneliness and solitude is that loneliness is being by yourself, whereas solitude is being with yourself. I think that's really important, being with yourself and being connected to yourself. And why this is important and more important than being connected to other people, because if you rely solely on being having people around and being connected to others, then what you're really doing is creating a situation where you have dependency on the presence of other people to feel connected. And it's all well and good when there are lots of people around and you have, family and friends around and you have people around you all the time. But it becomes impractical when there are situations where you don't have that, whether maybe you've lost relationships, whether it's there's been a family member who's passed away, or a partner has passed away, or you have had a breakup or lost friendships, or other where or you're going to new places where you don't know anyone. So it's very important that this connection with a deep connection with self is established so that you actually feel fine regardless of the external circumstances. And that's something that you have control over, is creating that deep level of connection with yourself. And what does that actually mean? I mean, what does it mean to have a deep connection with yourself? Now, feel that's the same way you connect with others and you care for others and show compassion and kindness towards others, that you can do with yourself. You can be self-compassionate, exercise self-kindness, have a deep sense of care for self, for your heart, for your mind, for your body, and really connect with yourself at a deep level where you actually feel that you have a positive and caring relationship with yourself. So what are some practical tips to develop that relationship? One is, obviously, a loving kindness practice, which actually starts with self-compassion and just being kind towards self and wanting wellness for yourself, which is then extended to others around you and the world. So again, it's the concept is that deep sense of connection with self, which can then be extended to other people, not the other way around. Some of the internal dialogue you may like to have with yourself is things like, come to me, stay with me. So you actually internally have that conversation where you tell yourself, come to me, stay with me, be with me. And that's very powerful because you are almost like, in a way, I wouldn't say it's two people, but it's like you recognize that you are establishing a relationship with yourself, and having that kind of internal dialogue of that is kind of bringing yourself to yourself is that connection with the self. And so So times where you have nobody around you and you don't have people to connect with, you have this deep sense of connection with yourself, which means that you're actually quite comfortable being with yourself. Not really by yourself anymore, because now you're with yourself. Even though you may not have people around you, you are with yourself, and hence you are in solitude. And solitude, once you have that deep sense of connection with yourself, becomes a very actually positive and pleasant experience. Now, what happens if you actually you try to make a connection with yourself, but you still kind of fail? Effectively, you might still feel lonely. So what do you do then? Nothing, not a problem. If you do feel lonely, the most important thing you can do is actually accept that feeling, accept that emotion, and exercise self-compassion. Again, this self-compassion and self-acceptance is absolutely essential. So creating the space for yourself to have the wide variety of emotions that you experience. Now, of course, I'm not saying kind of if you're lonely and just sit and not connect with other people. Of course, attempt to seek and connect with others and build relationships, or even get a pet, or whatever it is, and join communities and so on. But the more you develop a sense of uh, independence, so that you're not kind of seeking that just so that you feel connected. The problem with that is sometimes we seek or escape, you try to escape that emotion, and kind of just connecting with people that they may not even be the right kind of people you want to connect with, or you use substances, or you just try to distract yourself from the emotion. That's probably not a way to have a value-driven life. It's more about, okay, I make these connections because I value being with those people. I do these activities because I value it, not because I'm trying to escape the emotion of loneliness or sadness or isolation. So these are some of the techniques you can use. Of course, it's very important that at times where it becomes difficult to manage these emotions, so you reach out and get help. It's very important. You connect with others, you get help, and make sure that you keep yourself well and healthy, and take a good care of yourself. Obviously, we just talked about the emotion of loneliness, but this extends to any kind of emotion. Is just giving yourself that space to be able to experience whatever you're experiencing, without the need to always try to push and escape those emotions. Giving them some space. Okay, so I hope this video was useful. Would be keen to hear your feedback or comments, and thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.